Lovely horse just gone by with the owner. Lovely horse. Bit like is it a palomino or something? Anyway, do you know, I just love this walk. I had to do my 7 minutes of danger, which is walking on a B road, a very, very B road, but because it leads down to the seaside and the beach at Sand Bay, and it's curvy and windy, it can be very, very dangerous. But I always have my camera, so people, when they see me, they think they could be on camera, so you just slow up actually. But yeah, it's supposed to be, it could reach 34 degrees, I reckon, in some parts of the country today. Well, it could do here if you took the wind away. Now, I've taken my hat off for a little while, because a minute ago it was sort of quite overcast. I do like to let my head have a bit of vitamin D as well. But I will put the hat back on. It's now, it's 11:30, and I actually do like doing this, what I call alternative walk. Now, before I saw the horse and the woman, there was another woman, and she must have been absolutely smashed, stoned, to watch someone so stoned riding a bike. It was like she was made of elastic. It was really, her legs just going all over the place. Obviously I didn't take a picture of her. We said hi, and she looked absolutely stoned when she said hi to me. I mean, you do get people camping out up here, you know. But she looked really happy. Say that. Most of the fields now have got the maize, corn on the cob, or whatever you call it. And of course it's the holidays, a lot of people got horses down here. This is stable country, and you'll quite often see the children down here helping to clean the horse, you know, brush the horses, groom them, and things like that. And this is all sort of horsey country round here. It's lovely and peaceful for them. And of course it's well below sea level, so basically what happens is there's very, very unlikely to build anything other than a warehouse or a shed here. Someone will be coming by in a white car in a minute. Unless they've got more than one stable, or she might just be turning around, checking on the horses. They might do it for a neighbour as well while they're down here. Do you want me to check on your horses? See, there's another cornfield. You could probably have a walk around that if you had nothing else to do. But like I said, I do like doing this walk. This is an old track. It could have been used by the Romans, by the way. Because although it turns off now and again, it's quite a straight road all the way to the Priory. And you know, the Romans were probably out here. I can't remember if they were. I got a feeling they were out here. It's access to the sea, you see, coming off the Mendips. There's monk steps up there as well, which was all to do with the Priory, that go up into Aubrey Wood. Lots of excavation is a possibility here. It'd be rich in stuff, I would have thought. Very rich in medieval stuff as well, because of the knights and the association with the murder of Thomas Becket in Canterbury Cathedral. Some of the knights were from Somerset, or what was Wessex, you know, down this way. And when I'm walking these sort of old tracks, which obviously been tarmacked and, you know, all that, I just can feel the spirits of the past walking with me here. I've only ever walked here on my own, but I don't ever feel alone when I'm walking it. I discovered all these paths when I retired, and I then I didn't have a vehicle sometimes for a couple of years in between things, and COVID came, and I came out and I explored all these back tracks, knowing that even I've written up until, well, I don't know how fit I'll be when I'm 90, but I've worked out lots of smaller routes I can do as life gets more hard as you age. That white car went up there. I think she's gone to stables that way. Or she could have gone up there. You can walk round. There's another loop I do here sometimes. There's the woods behind. The beach is over there. I'm doing a circular today. I'm enjoying the heat. I actually like, although you're supposed to be careful, you know, if you're frail and old and you've got asthma, you're supposed to, well, I don't stay in. I class my flat as a pollen den. Basically, it's a trap. The pollen gets in, it don't fucking get out again. Excuse me for that. No. Anyway, once a week I allow myself an antihistamine. I won't rely on it much, but this time of year, it lasts me at least 3 days. One pill. There is they think there might be an association with dementia or some sort of memory loss, but like I said, I don't take it very often. I've put suntan protection on. I've had an outbreak because I'm having to blow my nose. I was streaming because of the hay fever. My nose got really sore, so I've had to apply stuff to my nose and cover it with cream as well. But I actually like being out when I can feel the heat going right into my bones. For me, this is supposed to be the third or fourth mini heat wave, lasting 2 days. This sort of heat, and I was out yesterday. I was out doing quite a 5-6 hour walk on one of my hikes I do on the area of outstanding beauty on the Mendip Hills, and I enjoyed every minute of that. No one about hardly at all. Nobody. You get the whole place yourself. I'm hoping to do Quantox over soon as well, because the heather and the gorse will be on full display in about a week's time. If not 2 weeks' time, it will be at its peak. Beautiful to see. I am still going to go to Ilfracombe, but I'm waiting really till September-ish, because it's going to be too hectic down there. You know, some of these places they get so hectic with all the holiday makers and that, and they do attract people. So that, although I might do a day trip next week. In 2 weeks' time, I might do a day trip. Because I want to do a good video for Zara of her ancestors from Ilfracombe, the Barbarys. They still live there. She's got living cousins and everything down there, Zara has. They own a lot of boats. They own fishing boats that take people out fishing. They've got cafes down there. They've got a big history. They're all over the museum. Lovely pictures of them, of her great-grandfather, who was a lifeboat man in the very early days of lifeboats, and her great-grandfather, the Loverings, also from Combe Martin. Yeah, Zara's got a big connection in Devon. And going back a long way with her Lovering family. The Barbarys come from Cornwall, and they go back to the Barbary pirates, and it's true. Yeah. So, and they do look Moroccan and that, these Barbarys in her family. She's got a double dose of that sort of thing, Zara, because on another side of the that was on her maternal grandmother's side. On her paternal side, her great-grandmother was from Portugal, and also they look sort of Moroccan. And she's got quite big. If they looked at her DNA in detail, they find a hell of a lot of North African and stuff. They've already traced her to that sort of thing. The nomads of North Africa. Anyway, I'm rambling on, but that's what I do on my walks. I ramble, I reflect. you've got to be careful what you say. Now, I just mentioned a bit about Gaza. They've arrested over 500 people just for holding a placard, sitting peacefully on the ground. They're linking them to terrorist groups. Absolutely ridiculous. A lot of people are against what's going on out there. And they've really stamped on them. Some of them could get in prison for 14 years. And a lot of them are my age. Standing up against genocide out there and the slaughter that's going on. But you've got to be careful what you say. When I'm at home doing washing up, I always have big reflective talks to myself. Soliloquies in the kitchen, I call them. And but if I was to say them out loud, I'd probably get arrested as well. But I don't think I'll arrest you at home. But what happened in Gaza 2 days ago, the Israeli army shot dead on purpose some journalists and cameramen from Al Jazeera, saying that they were linked to terrorists. Well, everyone says it's not true. They were just reporters. Because they don't let European reporters and journalists in. Just carry on. I'm not sure if I pressed the off button a minute ago, and I'm not quite sure if I did all of the video, the first one. But there was quite a good bit on there, but I don't know if I turned it off by accident, because sometimes I'm moving my thumb around, I actually press the off button, because I didn't notice a little red button on there. So anyway, just saying how I love this walk in here. I love this walk, and I wouldn't be surprised it hadn't originally. Well, it might have been Iron Age people before the Romans had some sort of track along here, or it could have been totally underwater. Don't forget, a lot of Somerset was underwater going back in time. That's why we've got the Isle of Avalon and the Isles of Avalon, all the various little islands like Nyland Mound, and they're dotted about these little islands around Glastonbury Tor. So this might have been completely underwater, or marshland. Don't forget Alfred the Great was supposed to have hidden further over in Somerset, in marshland. It was a very boggy place. It wouldn't have had a hedgerows. You know, we have to remind ourselves that it wouldn't have looked anything like this. I like listening to Alice Roberts, Professor Alice Roberts. She's got a book out. I don't know when I can afford it, I'll buy it. Or I'll get it out the library or something. It's her latest book. She's very, very good, and she's a local Southwest girl. And do you know what? When I was a nurse and she was training or just qualified as a doctor, I've just got this feeling she come to Weston once and worked for a short period at Weston Hospital. When I first heard about her on the telly, because she'd gone over to archaeology, I remember what a lovely person she was. Do you know what I mean? She was a brilliant doctor, a lovely, kind, brilliant, understanding, reflective doctor. Very holistic. Anyway, I keep meaning to ask her if she ever had a short spell, or Taunton, one of those hospitals where I worked, as I had a proper job there. I just thought she looked so familiar, and I'm very, very good with faces, not names much, but faces. So basically, I need to ask her that one day. But I just love this. Now look what's coming into view as I come round the corner. Look at that. Our lovely priory. There'll be loads of apples on the trees there. That's what I mean. Look how this road here is linked up to the priory. You know? Could have been its shape. It could have been straighter. It could be that over time it had been shaped by man, and these ditches dug in and all sorts. Might have been straighter, but you know, evolved with human people. like I said, I do love this walk. And sometimes, if the cows have been over where I've had to walk to get back, I've had to come back this way and go that way and risk the road. In a way, I picked this time. A lot of people would have already got down on the beach. Now, if you do it later, when they're all going home and they're tired and weary and hot with screaming children, it could be a different experience walking that road. Yeah, I've seen grass snakes and other creatures dead here when they've cut back sometimes. But at least there's some water, look. The ditch, or the reen, whatever you want to call it, it's not bone dry, is it? There'll still be some room for life in there. I don't know how they manage with the horses, with the rotation of the fields. So they all look pretty barren. They'd have to bring out hay for them, I would have thought, and other types of food. And the cows, I mean, when there's these drought conditions, they've said it before with them, and they've had to use winter stuff to give to the cows because all the grass is gone. Look at that lovely picture there. This is where I'm in heaven myself here. I love this place. Don't get me wrong, of course I love the Quantocks and the Mendips. They're a bit different, they're the wilder areas. This is like a little bit of civilization, but remote and quiet and peaceful. Over now, I'm going to take a picture.